Carjacking old lady at a red light. Pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store.
Everything he said is messed up to do.
Got a gun that my granddad gave me.
But I want to hope for something better.
I do
want
too.
to hope
I do
for
too.
something better.
And I think that's why you have guns.
I can't agree with that blanket statement. It's like,
We don't agree with everything. Howdy. Well, Russ here.
and Chris.
Today we're going to be reacting to Jason Aldean. Try that in a small town. We have heard a little bit about it. We heard this song is racist, and a lot of woke, like very, very woke people are saying that this song is about BLM and it's a racist song. But as always, I just don't trust people. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't know what I am. I like to actually hear what the facts are.
You're a
and
thinker.
I'm a thinker. So I'm going to watch this video and I will tell you what I really feel.
We will check it out.
Because, I mean, unfortunately, in this day and age, people claim things are racist when they're not. And that whole word racist is being watered down.
Yeah, there are true racists, for sure. I mean, when you string someone up, hang someone up, pull someone behind a car, you're most definitely a racist.
I did find out that this building that he filmed at, apparently there was a gay lynching, or a gay lynching, a freaking black lynching. Years ago.
Like decades ago.
Yeah, years and years ago.
When? That would be good to look up and find out when that was.
I think it was 1927. That's just my gut vibe from my memory. Jason Aldean court building lynching. The new video for the Jason Aldean song, Try That in a Small Town, takes place outside a Tennessee courthouse where nearly a century ago, an 18-year-old black man was attacked by a mob and lynched. And it was the year 1927. Did he do that on purpose, though?
Did what? Did Jason Aldean pick this building for that reason? Probably not. I mean,
if he did, that's a
then
dick
that would be
move.
effed up.
But let's be real. That courthouse is probably used today for so many different things.
Yeah.
And if you use that logic, like a lot of cool places that somebody has been brutally murdered, you wouldn't be able to go to it or support. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. When you have a lot of people in a certain area, sometimes crappy things happen, but it doesn't represent that area. It just means something bad happened there.
Unfortunately, lynchings took place all over the South, maybe beyond that. I have no idea.
And it's not right.
And it was never right. I think it's more important that those things took place, and now we can stand on that same ground and know that those things no longer take place. Things have changed. The world has changed. I mean, as crazy as things are now, there are things that have gotten better. We no longer lynch black people.
But I just want to say we accept everybody. That flag right there, I love it because it's the United States. It represents everybody. It represents the Democrats, Republicans, the gay people, the trans people, the blacks, the whites, whatever your religion is. It's about being kind to each other, being a good person, and that represents everybody.
You know what? I just realized something I'm so glad about is we are not changing that flag and altering that flag like they keep altering the gay flag. I am so tired of seeing the new gay flag of the week. It's just like, let's just get a symbol and let it represent everyone.
Yeah, it gets tough.
It's tough. I like the original rainbow flag. Thank you.
Here we go.
He's hot.
Flame. Smooth.
Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk. Carjacking old lady at a red light. Pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face. Stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Well, try that in a small town.
Everything he said is messed up to do. It's not racist.
No.
I mean, I shouldn't even brought up the race card. I just did because that's what I heard it was. The reality is it's saying don't spit in a cop's face. Don't burn the flag and cause a bunch of damage. Duh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality. I don't care if you protest. You should peacefully protest. You should.
Yes, you should protest peacefully.
We'll try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross
Okay, the chorus, it's catchy.
Yeah.
It's just saying about try that in a small town, saying it's not going to fly.
And it shouldn't fly
Anywhere.
in a big city.
No.
That's the thing. It's like, I actually like the message of this. And now that I think about it, with the lyrics, it's like, I don't know of any of the what I call crazy riots and destruction taking place in small towns. I just don't know of it happening. It's all been big metropolitan areas. It doesn't matter if you're in a small town or a big metropolitan area. Who benefits from destruction?
And
I
it
just
doesn't
don't
matter
get it.
what the organization that's doing it. It's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm actually questioning where all this footage came from. I saw so much footage when it came to like the BLM stuff and the riots that did happen in like Portland and definitely the Target in Minnesota. In Minneapolis, remember like the burning Target?
Oh, yeah,
and there
yeah.
was a newscaster saying these are mostly peaceful protests, and you see like the Target burning or whatever. Maybe it was a Target, but it was a building burning.
It was a building. Yeah, I don't know that it was a Target.
And I got to see all like the cop cars burning and stuff. Like, I mean, that stuff did happen. It's not right.
No.
But at the same time, when a cop makes a mistake and kills
They should
someone,
be held
they should be held accountable.
accountable.
There are good cops and there are bad cops. Duh. But yeah, I don't know where this footage came from. I don't know if it's actually footage from the BLM stuff or not. I don't know.
I have no idea.
They could have used BLM footage. I mean, my TikTok was going crazy with some of that footage, even though it was cherry picking because there were definitely cities where there were BLM protests that were peaceful.
Which
and
we
then-
took part in.
Which we took part in. But then I was kind of shocked to find out that there were all the cities where when the lights went down, buildings were being burnt and looting was going on and people were getting hurt and injured and they were burning
Ridiculous.
cars and stuff. It made me kind of like sad to be a part of the movement at all because I figured out the movement is way bigger than me and it wasn't all good people attached to it.
Yeah. And see, I don't regret having gone to the BLM march in Bozeman, Montana, because it was so well organized. It was peaceful. I'm totally fine with having been part of that activity. I could never have been or proud of being a part of things that went on in Portland and Seattle and Minneapolis, other cities where things were destroyed. Destruction of other people's property is never acceptable.
And I started finding it hard to figure out where the movement actually stood because it seemed like it was like hijacked by Antifa and the Proud Boys, and I just didn't know where.
Well, not by the Proud Boys. It was like
More Antifa, but there was like a Proud Boy element where people were blaming things on like the Proud Boys or Antifa, and it was like all lumped together in this messy web, and I'm like, what is actually going on?
Yeah.
Who put those bricks? We all heard of like bricks being dropped off in these protests.
in pallets, big pallets of brick in protest areas, but the organizers didn't do it. So who did it?
And then I heard people say it was probably the Proud Boys, and I heard people say it was Antifa. I don't freaking know. Either way, it's definitely not a good thing. And if you choose to partake in that, and if you're like, this is one of the things that really annoys me. When you break windows of, like, let's say a Louis Vuitton, like it happened in Portland. Like currently, the Louis Vuitton, it has boarded up windows.
They're
and the
not
Wells
there
Fargo.
anymore, are they? Didn't they?
No, they moved. But a lot of
that's
people
what I
had
thought.
the mindset of like all these broken windows being like, oh, well, it's not a big deal because they have insurance. It's like, for one, you're an asshole if that's your mindset because the people who run the business still have a stress from it. They have to deal with the insurance. They have higher premiums.
The people that work there
and
have
people
jobs.
You're taking away jobs from the community. You're taking it away from the small man, not the big man.
You're taking away resources from the community.
You're taking resources, and then these businesses sometimes move, and then you screw that block, and now the block looks like a ghost town, or more of a ghost town, and then you're literally, whoever owns that business has to like restock, has to go through all the process, and it's a stress. It's not a fun thing. So if you're like the mentality, oh, don't worry, they have insurance, it's a selfish mindset.
Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town full of good old boys, raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small
So he definitely references these small town people packing, like they have guns.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he did
think
mention
about
the
it,
good
it's
old
America.
boys. I have heard people say, "Oh, the good old boys," and they refer to racist white men.
But that's not always true. I mean, you can't make this blanket
Especially with words
statement
that
like
general. Good old boys. It's like, I mean, that's a pretty generalized thing that I'm sure there's lots of different meanings for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small town. People are going to be packing. And my grandpa, you know, I'm from Wyoming. My grandpa gave me guns. And he didn't ever give me anything else in my life. And when he gave me guns, I was like, oh, okay, Grandpa. You know, I kind of was like, it wasn't my favorite thing at the time to get from my grandpa. I would rather have his time. But he gave me guns, and it ended up being more valuable to me than I thought it would be, especially as I get older. Like, there's no way I can get rid of the guns that he gave me. At
I
least
get that.
the few that I got.
Yeah.
I actually gave one to
you
my
got
friend.
3.
They're valuable to me. They mean something. They're sentimental, and it sounds weird. And then there's the whole debate on like us having guns.
Yeah.
So I feel like just by mentioning guns, you're gonna trigger a good portion of the population in this country.
Click off, click off, click off.
But
click
I
off.
am pro the Second Amendment because I do not trust the government. I never will, and I don't think we should.
Well-
sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad, but I
So-
definitely question things.
And see, I don't even I can't agree with that blanket statement. It's like right now I do not trust the government, but you're saying you never will. If the government started displaying something to me that I felt more confident with, then maybe I would trust the government at that time in a new rendition of it or what have you. Because I hope to goodness our government changes.
Yeah, the way I look at it is the government's going to do good things, and I will acknowledge when they do good things. But I have seen the history of governments throughout humankind, and it always ends up in like a power struggle where a few have power and they control the masses.
Yes, but I want to hope for something better.
I do
want
too.
to hope
I do
for
too.
something better.
And I think that's why you have guns. I'm serious. I really believe that. I think that there is a power dynamic because the reality is a lot of people that don't even want guns, they still do in certain instances. Not all of them, but like they probably want guns when it comes to sending guns to Ukraine to fight a war, which is still screwed up. And it still is a gun.
People are
fighting
dying
someone. And
on both sides.
yeah, it's still screwed up, but they might be okay with that. Or the hypocrisy. A lot of people are trying to cancel this video for mentioning guns and all this stuff, but they will be completely okay with the rap song that mentions guns and drugs and sex and like gang activity.
And F and the so-and-so B and
Oh,
then
that's only one
poking
thing.
in her
Who cares?
P and,
That's sexual. I'm talking like
I
these
know.
rap songs sometimes are talking about gang activity where they're talking about guns and gangs killing other gangs or often people.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. That's a different low than sex talk.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah.
There's different kinds of guns. Like, yeah, if you're talking about like the down below gun, that's a lot more PG-13 than talking about like using your gun to cap somebody.
Yeah. Anyway,
fucked
I'm
up.
not for canceling people. I'm not for canceling this fellow, this video, this song. It's just like we've got to get out of this authoritarian type of way of thinking. Yeah, I've learned that I'm not authoritarian. I'm more, what is it, libertarian?
If you've never taken the test to see if you're authoritarian versus libertarian, everyone sees it as just left and right. But that's only part of it. There's actually authoritarian versus libertarian.
And while I think the powers that be, whoever those powers that be that are the shadow government, they're not even our government, not what's out in front of us. They're keeping us looking at left and right while they're really doing their biggest work on the vertical axis of
And they're more authoritarian.
They're putting their authority over all of us.
Exactly why
whether
I like
we're
guns.
left or right.
And I have this theory, and I could be wrong on this, but you know how there's like the drug trade and the cartel?
I do know about that.
Well, even when you make drugs illegal in this country, you just incentivize the cartel to sneak more drugs in to this country. Don't you think that would happen with guns too? You make
course.
guns illegal,
It already
and then you
does.
just have like guns come over the border, and the guns are already out there. I feel like in a perfect world, if you could just get rid of guns.
All guns, everywhere.
And that includes the military, that includes the police, that includes the politicians that have security
Get rid
guards.
of all bombs. I'd be for that.
Yeah, but
everybody.
they're already out there, and that's what's so messed up about them.
Yeah.
Like in a perfect world, if there was no war, it would be great. But they armed the soldiers because the other side has guns. That's the reason. But let's go back into.
There's no way to make this pretty.
But it's not like I don't consider school shootings, and I of course think that if you're mentally challenged and you have like some sort of violent record, yeah, you should not be able to buy a gun.
Yeah.
Duh. And that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not.
There's
a
so many
perfect-
conversations in here.
yeah. This song is bigger than the actual song. And what I mean by that is it's causing a conversation. The sound of the song, it's pretty good, but it's more about the meaning and the conversation
That it's starting.
that is starting.
I like things that start conversations.
Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Round here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Ooh, try that in a small town.
Around here, we take care of our own. I watched a TikTok where somebody said that was a racist line. Like, take care of our own, like, we take care of other white people. It's like, well, that's a stretch, because that's not the words.
No, that's not the words.
And small town people could be black, too. You know that, right? So,
And there are actually small towns that are mostly black.
especially in the South.
Yeah. So,
So-
hopefully they're taking care of their own, whether they're black or white or some other race. We're all just people. I wish people would get it that we're people. We're not this and that. We're all people.
You want to know a big way to stop being racist?
Stop being it.
No. You stop assuming that everybody had the same life experience because of their skin color.
Just because you're a certain skin color does not mean you have the same life experience as everyone else of that skin
Yeah, I
color.
actually don't care what color your skin is. And I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're gay. If you're a good person, you're a good person. We happen to be on the spectrum, I guess.
What
and guess what?
spectrum?
Just because you're gay doesn't mean that I'm going to be your friend. There's a lot of gay people that I'm like, holy crap, you need to use your brain. Don't treat politics like a sports team. No, there are no good parties that are perfect. Every party has pros and cons. Everything has pros and cons. I just wish
Yin
that
yang.
this video was essentially about how small towns don't want violence coming into their towns. Why would you? Why do you want like your cars being burnt and all this stuff? Now, I will say, I didn't see any BLM signs. I didn't even see a lot of black people in this video. White people that were doing the crimes.
Well,
mainly
let's
in this
face it.
video.
In most of what happened in the last iteration of looting and what have you, there's more white people. Therefore, there's probably more white people doing that kind of stuff because it's a bigger population. You know, it wasn't a skin color that marched with BLM either.
It wasn't. It was actually good and bad people. I have a lot of friends who marched with them that are great people. I mean, I even have somebody that's in my life that posted something about them being an Antifa on Facebook, and I was like, ooh, I'm sorry, that's not something I'd be proud of. And they were all about the BLM stuff. So, I mean, there were obviously different people in the BLM movement, good and bad, and all over.
Yeah.
And when you have movements that are that big, you're going to have some corruption, and you're going to have good people that are trying to make a difference. So the people that are trying to make a difference in the good way, good for you.
Just don't get destructive. It would have been nice to have been able to march with Martin Luther King
Oh, yeah.
because he did it right. Martin Luther King was straight and narrow, man.
Well, want
I
to know
liked him.
why? Because he had the dream of...
He had a heart.
Well, he had a heart, but he also had the dream of whether or not you're white or you're black, you're judged by your personality and your characteristic quality of your character.
Quality of your character rather than the color of your skin.
And that's the way it should be.
But what's going now on with this, everything that's so racist, like just pointing out skin color, like it's all that matters.
Like
in a
we should
person.
probably, like if we title this "White Guys React" and we act like a bunch of hicks,
White gay guys react.
it gets more clicks. I don't know. It's
I
just,
think we should do that. What gay guys react?
I liked it. We got to rate it because of how powerful this song has become. I mean, it's like number 1 or number 2 on iTunes.
Okay.
I mean, it's getting downloaded like crazy. Because of the conversation that it's starting, I'm going to rate it a little bit higher because a song that has a lot of power to it, I got to rate it a little bit higher. It's causing this conversation. So I'm going to rate it a B. But I don't think it's his best song. Jason has done vocally better songs, but maybe this song is bigger than the actual sound of it because it's causing the conversation.
So is this like now his biggest song?
I don't know. It's
You
too
don't
soon
know?
to tell.
Well,
But I mean, everyone's talking about it, but it's a pretty good song. What would you rate it?
as far as just like the song itself, as far as okay, it's a country song. It's a good country song. It makes you move. I mean, here I was moving to it, and I'll probably be singing it. So I would say B+ for it just being a country song.
Okay.
But then if you take it to what it's doing, hey, you got to give it an A for that. It's making people think. Hopefully it's making people have conversations. That's what we should be having rather than I'm over here and I think this and I'm over here I think that and just butting heads. We got to all get in rooms together, talk.
And be peaceful, which is basically what
And
this is
hug
about.
and go home.
And honestly, I don't know Jason Aldean's heart. I'm saying if I found out he was racist and there was proof, I would think he was an asshole. But right now, this is a stretch. There's nothing really truly racist about this. It's just about him not liking violence in a small town and how people in a small town would not stand for it and they will protect their own. And their own could be black or white people or hopefully gay people.
Or Asian.
Or Asian or just...
Or Native American. Yeah. It's like I now know Jason Aldean.
I just want to end with one thing.
What?
The importance of allowing conversations to not be canceled.
Yes.
If you do not agree with something, use your speech and say you don't agree, but don't cancel. When you cancel someone's speech, you're taking away the First Amendment. You got to have free speech.
Yes.
Freedom of expression. You have the right to protest peacefully. You have the right to speak. That's the gift that we are given. Jordan Peterson said this, and some people like him, some people don't, and I'm going to paraphrase. Hopefully I don't butcher it too much. You need conservatives and you need liberals because some things out there are worth conserving and some things you have to change. And you have to have them communicate between the liberals and the conservatives because sometimes you have to have a debate. You have to figure out what to do. You have to figure out whether or not something is worth conserving or changing. And it's both. So you need both sides.
Is there a way
I'm
for
definitely paraphrasing that.
I like quite a lot of what Jordan Peterson says. Not everything, but I haven't found anyone that I always agree with.
Exactly.
Ever. Sometimes I don't even agree with myself after,
We
year
don't
down
agree.
the road.
We don't agree with everything. And we've been together over 13 years. We don't want to always agree. We want to challenge each other.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sticking around with this.
I hope you don't cancel us.
Yeah. That's the
But
thing.
if you
is
do,
like,
hey, that's your choice.
yeah.
That's your method of speech, I guess.
Yeah. You have the right to. Either way, if you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. We want our subscribers to go
Up.
Why, Russ?
And Chris.
Love you a long time.
Love
Well-
each other.
And now we're canceled for kissing. We can't do anything right.
Can't get it right.